expectations around the growth of these companies, which is related to activity. Then, if you look into, so there's two things here. You mentioned the testing, and you mentioned the wellheads, right? Yeah. Wellheads tend to be much more valuable. If you look at a company like Cactus that provided, they did the testing and did the manufacturing of these wellheads and so on. I don't know. If you look at the IPO, probably you guys are experts there, right? But it's something more than 9-10 times EBITDA or something of that sort, right? Companies I've seen before, smaller companies I've seen before, when it comes to these completion wellhead business, we're talking 7-8 times easy. Now, the testing, or commonly referred to as flowback, that's completely different. There is no manufacturing there. It's a very crowded space. A lot of mom and pop companies that are pretty much, with a few manifolds and some connections. And what they do is, whenever the fracking is over, these companies move to pretty much flow all the debris, all the chemicals that have been injected, all the fluids that have been injected, store them, or environmentally dispose of that fluid before the hydrocarbons start flowing. Now, these flowback companies, we're talking 4 times EBITDA at max. As a matter of fact, we were involved without, putting a name there, but we were involved with one of the frac flowback companies that actually the process has failed because their expectation was in the 5 to 6 times, and we offered 3 to 4 times. So, and the whole process has failed. And this is one of the big companies doing fracking in the Permian. So really doing frac flowback in the Permian. So really that testing frac flowback space is very crowded. There is not much expertise, not much labor skills involved. All related to services. To flow back, you just need a few pipes, right? You connect your pipes. You have a separator, right, which is all, off the counter kind of product that you buy from anybody, right? And it's all about, having good safe people, having good connections, and then installing your piping and doing that, and then logistics, few trucks to store that fluids or dispose of it. And that's what is involved there. But when it comes to the wellhead, it's different because you have a manufacturing piece, then you have an installation, testing, installation and service fee piece out of this, right? So the crowd, the barrier to entry is much higher for these type of equipment, for this type of equipment and service, and therefore, much less competition. And valuation tends to be, double what it is for flowback and testing.
Hi. So just to clarify, we understand the wellhead testing isn't a meaningful EBITDA multiple. What about wellhead providers, companies that provide wellhead protection services? So they don't manufacture, they just provide this wellhead protection services. What types of multiples do those types of companies get?
Well, what I've seen, so there are a few companies that do wellhead protection, meaning because the fracking process involves a lot of sand blasting and a lot of wear and tear on these wellheads, some company provide that protection. So if the company is only doing protection, because a lot of these wellheads will also do protection as well. But then some companies, have been growing, lately in the past 3 years, I would say, as the capacity started to grow higher and the packing started to be much more aggressive, and the wear and tear obviously, has followed. So if a company is only specializing in that protection, it depends. If they have a patent, right, because some of these wellhead protections, if they have a patent, then you are looking into, above the 6-7 times. If they are just using, because there is some protection that is related to just to put a pipe, so it